Hello student. So let's start the ovaries. So the ovaries are the female gonads which is homologous with the testes in the male. It is produce the oocytes that is called the ovum, and the ovaries are the almond shaped grayish pink color structure which is located into that the ovarian fossa. So let's see the details of the ovaries. So here in this diagram, that is the violet color, this is the ovary. The measurement of the ovary, that is the length is 4 centimeter, the breadth is 2 centimeter, and thickness is 1 centimeter. Means 4, 2 and the 1 centimeter. After then, let's see that is the location of the ovary. So here in this diagram you can see that is the location. So in the nulliparous adult women, each ovary lies into that the ovarian fossa on the lateral pelvic wall below to that the pelvic brim. And this ovarian fossa, it is a slight peritoneal depression which is bounded. Here you can see that is the ovary and this is the ovarian fossa, and this ovarian fossa, it is bounded posteriorly by the ureter and the internal iliac vessel. So here you can see that is the ureter, this one, and this is the internal iliac artery, this one. So posteriorly it should be bounded, anteriorly by the external iliac vessel. So here this one, that is the external iliac vessel or the artery, and inferiorly by the uterine tube. So here, that is the uterine tube is present. Then the peritoneal relations. So the each ovary, it is attached the posterior surface of the broad ligament by a short peritoneal fold called the mesovarium. So here you can see that is the fold. This is called the mesovarium. Throughout that the mesovarium, the ovarian vessels, here you can see that is the ovarian artery. That means the ovarian vessels enter into that the hilum of the ovary. So this one. So each ovary is almost entirely covered by the peritoneum except along the mesovarian border. So here the two layers of the covering of the peritoneum are reflected on the posterior layer of the broad ligament. So that is the anterior layer and this is the posterior layer. So these two layers, it should be folded and it should be reflected on the posterior broad ligament. The mesovarium, it is act as a hilum of the ovary and conveys that is the blood vessels and nerves into that the ovary. The peritoneal layer of the mesovarium becomes continuous with the germinal epithelium of the ovary. Then let's see the external features and the relations of the ovary. So before the onset of the ovulation, the surface of the ovary are smooth, but after the puberty they become nodular and the irregular. As per month, that is the ovum, it should be discharged from the surface of the ovary. Then the ovary represent the following features, that is it have the two poles, that is the upper pole and this is the lower pole. Then the two surfaces, that is the lateral surface and the medial surface, and the two borders, anterior border and the posterior border. Then the position of the ovary. So the position of the ovary, they are shows variable in the nulliparous and the multiparous female. So nulliparous female means they have no child and the multiparous means that having a child. So in the nulliparous female, that is the long axis are nearly vertical. So here you can see that is the normal position in the nulliparous female. Then into that the multiparous, here in this diagram you can see that is the long axis, it should be goes horizontally, that is upper pole it should be goes laterally and the lower pole it should be goes on the medially. Then let's see the details of the external features. So firstly we should have to see that is the poles. So here first, that is the upper pole, or that is also called the upper extremity. So the upper pole it is broader than the lower pole, and it is related to that the uterine tube and the external iliac vein. It provides the attachment of the fold of the peritoneum called the suspensory ligament. So here you can see this is the suspensory ligament, and this suspensory ligament it consists of the ovarian vessel and the nerve. After then, let's say that is the lower extremities or the pole. So here in this diagram you can see that is the lower extremity. So this one. So it is narrower than the upper pole, and it is related with the pelvic diaphragm, and it is connected to the lateral angle of the uterus with posterior-inferior to the attachment of the fallopian tube by the ligament of the ovary. So here you can see that the ligament is present, that is called the ligament of the ovary. Then let's see that is the surfaces of the ovary. Then this is the lateral surface. So it is the convex and is in contact with the parietal peritoneum lining the ovarian fossa. So this surface separates the ovary from the extraperitoneal tissue and the obturator nerve and the vessel. Then the medial surface, so this one. So it is to larger extent, and this surface it is covered by the uterine tube. So here you can see, and it is separated by the peritoneal recess called the ovarian bursa. Then borders. So anterior border, or that is also called the mesovarian border. So it is the straight and attached to the posterior layer of the broad ligament by the short fold of the peritoneum. It is called the mesovarium. So here you can see that is the fold of the peritoneum called the mesovarium. Then the posterior border opposite to it, that is it is free and it is convex and it is directed towards the uterine tube and related with the ureter. So here in this diagram you can see that is the posterior border and this is the anterior border. So posterior border it is related with that the ureter, this one. Then the structure of the ovary. So histologically that the ovary it is divided into that the two parts, that is the cortex and the medulla. So this one here you can see that is the cortex and this is the medulla. So let's see first that is the cortex. So the cortex it is a thick peripheral part and consists of the different stages of the ovarian follicle. So this one. So it is covered by the germinal epithelium, which is made up of a single layer of the cuboidal cells into that the younger age. So in the latter of the life that the epithelial cells it becomes the flattened. The germinal epithelium becomes continuous with the peritoneum at the mesovarian border. So here this layer, thin layer, it is called the germinal epithelium, and here it is continuous with that the mesovarian. Then immediately beneath that the germinal epithelium, the connective tissue of the cortex, these are condensed to form the whitish tough fibrous tissue layer. It is called the tunica albuginea. So here that is the cortex and it should be forming that the layer, that is the tunica albuginea. Then the medulla. So this one. So medulla lies deep to that the cortex and it consists of the loose connective tissue containing relatively large blood vessels, particularly that is the veins. So here you can see that is the blood vessels are present and mostly that is the veins are present into that the medulla. Then arterial supply of the ovary. So ovary it is mainly supplied by the ovarian artery. So here you can see, which is arises from the aorta at the level of the L1 vertebra, and it reaches ovary after passing successfully to that the suspensory ligament. So here green color you can see, that is the suspensory ligament, and throughout this that the artery that should be enters into that the ovary, that is into that the mesosalpinx and into that the mesovarium, and it terminates by the anastomosing with the uterine artery. So here that is the branch, the uterine artery. So ovary, it is also supplied by the ovarian branch of the uterine artery. It enters into that the ovary through the mesovarium. Then the venous drainage. So the veins of the ovary emerges from the hilum and form the pampiniform plexus around the ovarian artery, from which the single ovarian vein it form near to the superior aperture of the pelvic inlet. The right ovarian vein drain into the inferior vena cava, and the left ovarian vein drain into the left renal vein. Then the lymphatic drainage or related with that the ovary. The lymphatic from the ovary, it should be goes into that the pre-aortic and the para-aortic lymph nodes. Then the nerve supply. So the nerve supply, it is innervated by the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerve. So the sympathetic nerve that should be derived from the T10 to T11 spinal segments, and the parasympathetic that is derived from the S2, S3 and S4. Then the functions of the ovary. So the functions are, first, that is the production of the oocytes. So here in this diagram you can see, this is, that is the germinal epithelium cell, and these are the primary ovarian follicle, and from this it should be forming that the ovum to each month, that is the production of the oocyte. So during the reproductive life of the female, that means the 30 to 45 years, ovaries produce alternatively one ripe of ovum per menstrual cycle of the 28 days. The ovum develop into a small follicle or the cystic follicle called the Graafian follicle. So here you can see, that is called the Graafian follicle, which ruptures approximately in the middle of the menstrual cycle, that means 12th or the 14th day, and release the ovum into that the peritoneal cavity. And after the ovulation, the empty Graafian follicle, so here you can see, that is the Graafian follicle, empty Graafian follicle, it is converted into the mass of specialized tissue, it is called the corpus luteum. So this one. Then second function, that is the production of the hormone. The ovaries produce, that is the two hormones, that is the progesterone and the estrogen. So progesterone, that is secreted by the luteal cells, and the estrogen, it is secreted by the follicular cells. Then the clinical point related with that the ovary. So first, that is the ovarian torsion. So the torsion of the ovary may occur due to the abnormally long mesovarium. So here you can see, that is the mesovarium and the suspensory ligament of the ovary. So that is called the ovarian torsion. Then the prolapse of the ovary. So for this we can see that the another diagram, the prolapse of ovaries. The ovaries are often prolapse or displaced into that the pouch of Douglas, where they can be palpated as per vaginal examination. So that is the PV examination or the vaginal examination, and that should be palpated. So whenever it should be displaced into that the pouch of Douglas. So pouch of Douglas, you know, that is the pouch of Douglas, or that is called the recto-uterine pouch. So from the ovarian fossa, the ovary may be displaced into that the pouch of Douglas. So the ovarian cyst. So one or more small ovarian cyst may be formed due to the development of arrest of that the ovarian follicle. So here that is the different follicles are present, and if that is the ovum, it cannot be comes out from the ovary, so it should be formed, that is the ovarian cyst. So a large ovarian cyst with encycled fluid may be formed due to the corpus luteum of that the pregnancy. Then next to it, that is the ovarian carcinoma. So the carcinoma of the ovary is a common and accounts near about 50% of all cancers and 20% of the gynecological cancer. Then the teratoma of the ovary. So the ovary may be sometimes contain a pluripotent cells which may be give rise a teratoma. Then ovarian dysgenesis. So congenital absence of one or both ovaries found in the Turner's syndrome. Then next to it, that is the ectopic ovaries. So the ovary may be fail to descend into that the pelvis, and or very rarely it may be drawn downwards with the round ligament of the uterus into that the inguinal canal, or even into that the labium major. So these are the clinical points, and one important point that is very common disease nowadays that's seen, that is called the PCOD, means polycystic ovarian disease. So in these cases, the ovum is unable to comes out throughout the ovarian surface and becomes it forming that the nodules or the cyst around the surface of that the ovary. So it is called a number of cysts they should be present on the surface of the ovary, so that is called the polycystic, the ovarian disease. And in this disease, that is the female can occur the irregular menses due to that the hormonal changes. So these are the clinical point related with the ovaries.